Hello, how are you? My last tutorial got cut off because I screwed up on the encoding, so it cut like 3 minutes off. Alright. Um, what what I want to show you right now is we'll get back to SSH in a minute. Actually, let's do it now. I had to go, like I said, to an open source repository. They had mirrors all over the place, and mine came from like Argentina. Alright. So when you go into BLFS book and you go to that site, Sun site, it's gonna 404 kick you out, or not kick you out, but you're gonna get a 404 error. All right. Now SSH takes a dependency and needs OpenSSL. Okay. So you have to get those first, and I think those links work through the book. The book's from like 2006, so you can't expect links to last forever. All right. But you want to get these two dependencies and follow the book, the documentation in the book when it talks about OpenSSL and OpenSSH. Okay, and you want to follow them. All right, follow them to the T, and you will have an SSH server running on your BLFS machine. And I need one so I can remote in and show you guys stuff. I tried to telnet, but I'm not really too much familiar with telnet, so telnet's very unsecure, so I really don't like using telnet. Okay. I do want to show you too that if you see here, I removed my sources. These are all my old sources. You can get rid of them. You don't need these anymore. Alright, unless you're saving them, there's really no point to save them. You can get rid of all these sources that are in your sources directory. Okay. Hopefully I can go back far enough and show you some good stuff, because I failed on a tutorial. I failed a lot, and this is basically, I removed all the sources and I freed up a lot of space. Is it gonna go back? Yeah, I think it went back all the way. Okay, I freed up a lot of space, and I want to show you that real quick before I go too much farther. Get down here. Alright. Yeah, it's not gonna go all the way back, is it? No. No, I don't think so. Yeah. Maybe it will. I don't know. I don't know. Basically, I had 1.4 gigs with all my sources installed and my tools installed. Okay? I had 1.4 gigs free, or not free, but that was my OS, and that. Yeah, see, that's way toggling in. All right, I lost it. Sorry. 1.4 gigs is a massive amount for a LFS machine. Okay. To actually, I really don't like my operating system being really high on not memory, what do you call, for storage. All right. So I have a small partition. I have a small 5.6 gig partition, and 1.4 of that is just being used for the operating system. Okay. You can have a huge partition if you want, and if 1.4 gigs is okay for you, that's alright, but it's not okay for me. Alright. And I saved a ton of room. I saved a ton of room by deleting my tools directory that we built with our Linux from scratch, and I deleted my sources directory. And that's all the sources directory. I deleted those two, and like I said before, we're at 1.4 gigs. Now we are at 544 megabytes. Okay, so pretty much we cut our storage in half. All right, which is great. With this many megabytes, you can put this on a 700 megabyte CD, and you can make a live CD of your LFS. Okay? Jeez. Alright? You can make a live CD of your directory structure. Okay? And you can put on a CD, and you can have a live CD, whatever. Alright, so and that's my goal. I haven't been able to do that yet, but that's my goal. Um, to make a live CD of my distro. Or even if I make it better, you know what? Even if I make it better, you can just have a live CD to sport around with you. You know what I'm saying? So, and the way you would do that, I'm the way I want to do it anyway. You got to get a program called CPIO, okay, and basically that copies in byte for byte and out byte for byte, okay. And CPIO stands for copy in out, okay. That's what CPIO does, and I analyzed the TinyCore live CD, and basically what they have is a CPIO file, okay, and the CPIO file contains the directory structure, okay, and they have that tarred. If you are familiar with TinyCore or even seen TinyCore, when you put the CD in, not install it or run it, but just if you put the CD in, you'll see that there's a TinyCore dot gz file. Okay, there's a tinycore.gz file, and then there's the kernel out of the boot. So you have a bz image file, okay, and you have a ISO-Linux directory. ISO-Linux contains your your boot. Alright, contains your config file that that when you put the CD in, your BIOS reads out of the ISO-Linux. So instead of on our operating system, it reads out of Grub, and on a CD it'll read out of ISO-Linux. Well, on the TinyCore that I have. So that's what I want to do, and if I accomplish it, maybe I'll show you. Maybe you can do it too. But inside of the TinyCore GZ file, it's also a TinyCore .cpio. Okay, and that CPIO actually has the whole directory tree inside of it. Okay, so basically I think what it does is after ISO-Linux boots, CPIO, which stands for copy in, copy out, will populate your dev folder. Well, dev folder, it'll populate RAM with the directory structure. Okay, so that's what that does, and that's, maybe I'll get into a tutorial about that. But my my LFS is slimmer now because I got rid of all that stuff. Just get rid of sources, tools, and sources. Okay, and you can cut those in half. You can cut your storage in half. Alright, so where I left off before with SSH, like I said, follow the book. Alright, you need CD into new sources. You need OpenSSL for base and put on the patch, okay, because this is a dependency for OpenSSH. Alright, and once you have SSH, once you get ready to do SSH, you'll come up to SSH and you'll come up to Etsy SSH. Move this out of the way. I got problems with my stuff. Okay, we'll try that. SSHD. You'll end up with a SSHD config file and an SSH config file. The only thing that actually makes you different from a client and a server is the configuration of the SSHD config file. Okay? Okay. So after you install SSH, you have to configure this file if you want to become a server or not, because by default you're just the client and you're not the server. Alright? I'm going to say vi ssh config. Yeah, yeah. Okay, and this is the SSH config file here. All right. Now, if you have another Linux distro with SSH on it, you can take that SSH distro. For example, here, this is my Ubuntu machine. Okay. Now, if you look here, actually, WSSH. Okay. The working directory is etc SSH on my Ubuntu machine. I have SSH installed, and all you have to do is just copy out the SSH config file. Copy that. Okay. Copy that config file over to your LFS machine and use it as a template to set up your SSHD server on your LFS machine. Okay, so that's how you can become a server with SSH. And I wish I could show you guys this bit for bit and view for view, but I can't because Telnet, I didn't get Telnet on this. I don't like Telnet at all. And in order for me to record this video, I gotta have SSH running so I can jump into it and record off of this computer, because I don't have a recorder on my LFS machine. Alright, so that's that. So I hope you don't have any problems, but if you do, there's a ton of documentation. Alright, just follow it, like I said, bit for bit, and you'll get it. Alright, now what I did was too, I made, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you fdisk L. Let me show you what I did. I made a clone of my hard drive, and I named it Toots, so I can show you how to install some packages. Okay, and I'll show you how to make a clone of your hard drive too. Right now, after I explain, when we first install our LFS, we have we come to the dev. We first install our LFS. This is our pretty much only these two were used. All right, made or created. Okay, we had an HDA2 for our swap. You can see right here it says swap. Okay, and HDA1 was for a file system. Okay. Now, instead of me, when you install packages, you could screw stuff up. If you screw it up, you'll destroy your hard drive. Maybe you'll destroy your hard drive, or maybe it's just easier to erase what's on your hard drive than actually fix it. Okay? So, given that, I cloned the one that we did in the series of tutorials to become my main OS, which is HDA3. Alright? You can see here that the size is different because I have stuff installed on here. This one is just straight out of the box how it was back when we did the Toots. So this is a backup, okay? And off of that backup, I also made a Toot, so I can build packages now. Alright, because I'm sure you guys don't want to see me fail when building packages and the videos never get done. Alright, so I did a clone of that hard drive. Actually, I think it's one of these. I think it's this one. I made a clone. I'm going to show you how to clone your hard drive right now. Okay? And basically, what you want to do is, if you want to clone your hard drive, you need to pick a certain hard drive. Like I said, I have two hard drives here, 30 gig and a 20 gig. Alright? Say fdisk L. 30 gig and a 20 gig, I got an HDB. So I want to create a partition first, fdisk HDB, okay, and print. Okay, and now I'm going to create a new partition, primary, selected 4, and we'll go default all the way, print. Okay, and you want to write that, of course. Let that go through. Alright, I'm getting little errors here. Don't worry about this for me. Alright, you should don't get these errors, but I am, because I'm having I need to reboot my machine so it can initialize the other partition I created. Alright, but I'm just going to show you how to make it and not necessarily make the whole clone. Okay, so after you do that, after you fdisk and everything else, you'll see you come to here, and now you see we have a new partition, HDB4. Don't do anything with it. Okay, don't format it, don't do anything with it. Alright, now you're going to use DD or disk duplicator, old Unix. Okay, you're going to say input file, find out where your hard drive is that you want to clone. And I want to clone, say, HDA1. Okay, then you have to specify output file OF equals dev dev HDB4, because that's the new one we just created. Okay, hit enter. DD's not going to give you any output, any standard output, doesn't matter. Okay, let DD do its thing. It might take a while. I'll get 2 gigs an hour. Okay, so if you have a small partition, or even if you made a 20 gig partition, I'm not saying it's going to take 40 hours to get that done, alright, but it will take some time, and you're not going to get any output out of it, so don't freak out. Okay, but for me, it's small, and I'm not going to let this run all the way, but I will let it run a little bit. Okay, well, that's, oh, no space left on the device. Great. That's okay. That's okay for me. Hopefully you didn't get that, because if you got that, that means that your hard drive is not cloned and you only have 118 megabytes. All right, but for me it's fine, because it's just, I'm just showing you how to do it. But you'll see here, after DD goes through, it copies byte for byte. Phone call. It copies byte for byte. All right, so it clones everything. It clones everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. Okay, and that's how you can create a backup of your hard drive. So you can use the backup, or you can use the backup to build on, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just a backup. Okay, let's see if I can mount that now. Mount. I don't know if I can, because I should reboot to initialize my hard drives. HDB4 to mount. See if that'll go through. No, it's not. Actually, can we say specify type verbose and type of ext3 maybe, and I think that's what we turned out to be. And mount type, no space before, could have thrown it. Okay, I should reboot so it re-initializes, but I'm not. Okay, that's how you can make a direct copy of your hard drive, so you can have backups and everything is good, and that's what you can do. I'm gonna delete this HDB4. Select 4. And I think I made 3 too, I'm not sure. But that's how you clean your disk. Okay, that's how you slim up your LFS. Follow the documentation and get your SSH package, and that's how you can do that. Alright, in the next one I'll show you how to build some packages. Maybe I'll build links and curl, wget. Maybe we'll go through that and show you what the what it's like to build a few packages. And guess what? It's just like building an LFS system. So that's all. Alright, so thank you for watching, and I am going to turn this off. I'll see you in the next one. 21:42.